If you knew morning wood, then you know why I feel blue. Without morning, my morning wood. Oh, well, I love you, yes, I love you, morning wood. Morning wood, morning wood. Oh, how my heart yearns for you. Oh, morning, my morning wood. Oh, well, I love you, yes, I love you, morning wood. Morning wood, morning wood.
Rise and shine. Happy Devil's Saturday. This is the Morning Woo, coming to you live from the Primetime Radio studios inside the bunker. Undisclosed location in beautiful New Jersey. Streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, X Live, Twitch, and now on Instagram Live on the Let's Go Devils Network. I'm your host, Sam Wu, here on a December 13th, 2025. It's cold outside, winter weather. We've got traffic building up near the Prudential Center today before the Devils take on the Anaheim Ducks, 12:30 p.m. Eastern start. We'll be at American Whiskey for Game Day Live and Devils After Dark. Travel safely. Get there early. I hate traffic, but I love having a Devils game. I'm going to see the Devils, but not a big fan of these matinee games. We got back-to-back matinee games this weekend. And boy, what a buzzkill last night. A buzzkill last night. Minnesota Wild acquiring Quinn Hughes, Marco Rossi, and others going the other way. I have a lot of thoughts on this. And we talked about this many times in the past week. And I've seen some reports out there. I see Pierre LeBrun, again, damage control, anything that's said on social media, take it with a grain of salt for now. The bottom line is you couldn't make the money work. There was one tweet that I saw out there saying that Nemec was not part of the deal. I can assure you Nemec was the main part of that deal. But the money just simply didn't work. Minnesota was able to make it work. Minnesota had the pieces that really fit Vancouver. But the optics don't look good here for Tom Fitzgerald. He's under a lot of pressure, and rightfully so. The Devils, in the month of December, it's been a long December. Thank you, JCB Architectural. It's been a long December, if you know that Counting Crows song. But this deal it would have never gotten done, no matter what kind of names you put out there. The only names that you could put out there, and you would have to have Vancouver accept it, and it wasn't going to happen, was Palat or Dougie Hamilton going the other way because of the salary cap. So the deal wasn't going to happen. Now, you can make an argument. You've known about this deal for a while now, Fitzy. Why weren't you prepared? And that's the question. And I wouldn't be so cocky and too confident that Quinn Hughes is coming to New Jersey automatically. It probably will happen. It probably will happen. But anything can happen in a year and a half. Let me give you, make up some scenarios. Quinn is out in Minnesota. He's well loved and well received. He goes to the Olympics. He's a hometown hero in Minnesota. When Team USA wins gold and Minnesota Wild, they're showing their true colors when they're in the playoffs and they're winning. And the future's right here, Quinn. Just sign extension on July 1st, and we'll try to get your brothers to Minnesota. That's one scenario. Another scenario, we've seen this happen before. Quinn's in Minnesota. He meets a girl. She's a hometown girl from Minneapolis. They're in love in that year and a half. And she says, don't go to New Jersey. I want to stay at home. We've heard that story before. If you remember, Zach Parisi's longtime girlfriend, it was a hard decision, but she wanted to stay home. And I don't blame her. It's not pointing fingers here. But there are so many things that can happen in a year and a half. I wouldn't say it's automatic. What I will say is automatic is, yes, he does want to play with his brothers. But he definitely wanted to get out of Vancouver. Was he using his brothers to get out of Vancouver? I don't know. But I'm pretty sure he wants to play with his brothers. But timing is everything. And the timing wasn't there. But I do question, you've known about this for a while, since the beginning of 2025, when Jim Rutherford was kind of chirping up a storm, trying to get Fitzy's attention here. Now, either Fitzy was ignoring it or, but eventually it went public. And you didn't clear any cap space in the offseason. Your hands were tied behind your back. You've got all these no movement clauses. And I'm not saying this is entirely Fitzy's fault, but he does have some ownership in it. But now it's, what does Fitzy do? What's his next move? Because you have to think that Tom Fitzgerald, who's been the GM for about 5 years, going on 6, if you remember, we were at the old PJ Ryan's before it became Tosh. This is our infancy of these Game Day Lives, but before it was Game Day Live, we were at PJ Ryan's, which was the old Brick City Grill, and I remember when Ray Shiro essentially was let go and Fitzy became GM, and we actually announced it while we were live because somebody told us while we were talking. But Fitzy's DNA is all over this team right now. The optics don't look good. Does Fitzy have enough to make things go away? Well, I think he does. He has an opportunity. Get Ryan O'Reilly and a winger to New Jersey. And also, when Jack Hughes, Kovacevic, all these guys come back, and Timo Meier, Gritsik is out this weekend. Once you have this team full strength and rested during the Olympic break, you got to come out strong after that Olympic break, because it's going to be a sprint to get to the playoffs. It's the good news. I didn't look at the standings this morning, but the Devils are still a handful of points away from first place. So it's not like the Devils are actually blown out, but it feels like they've been blown out because we've seen this rodeo before. The lackadaisical starts. I would expect, forget about the scoreboard, but I would expect the Devils to come out strong in the first period, in the first 10 minutes. Because if they don't, again, optics don't look good. Body language, they don't look good. I was concerned back in late November something like this would happen. It has. And I'm seeing some comments on the YouTube Live. Dubs is like, Sam, I don't care if Quinn comes here. There are so many problems in the organization that need fixing. Top six wing, third line center, 2 goaltenders, bottom six depth, and the prospect pool. Quinn Hughes can't fix all that. I agree with you. Tom Fitzgerald was kind of forced into it because Jim Rutherford wanted to get what he wanted. Bill Guerin was sitting on the sidelines, said, all right, well, I'm ready to part ways. Let's make a deal. There were other suitors. And I think the Devils are very lucky that, or at least Tom Fitzgerald's lucky that Jim Rutherford traded Quinn Hughes to Minnesota Wild, a Western Conference team. Could you imagine if Quinn Hughes was traded to Philadelphia? Detroit? Which the Devils, had some battles with earlier this year. So the Devils are fortunate in that scenario. But I will say it's not automatic that Quinn Hughes will come to New Jersey. And what kind of impact does it have on the current Hughes brothers in New Jersey? How do they feel about that? Are they disappointed? You would have to think that they would be. Jack Hughes in the middle of his 8-year contract. If Quinn signs long-term and things are going well in Minnesota and Jack's like, I want to play with my brother. You didn't get it done, Fitzy. Or Mr. Blitzer. It's kind of hard to kind of forecast what's going to happen in the future. Because a lot of things can happen. But what's done is done. Fitzy and New Jersey Devils have to move on. But Fitzy has some repairing to do of all the optics that are surrounding what had just happened in the last 2 weeks with this Quinn Hughes saga. And I talked about this on the Morning Woo yesterday. The foundational pieces are not as strong as you would think on paper. One guy gets hurt by cutting himself on a piece of glass, allegedly, at a Chicago cut restaurant, and suddenly the entire team stops playing well, including the goaltenders. I don't understand it. Michael Hay says 12:30 starts back-to-back is tough, but it's easier when the Devils score more goals than the opponents. Let's go Devils. Luke will have a great game tonight. Luke and Nemec paired. Have to. I don't like the Luke and Nemec pairing. I don't. Not now, at least. Keefe knows that they are not emotionally ready to win, Metalander. Oh, Sheldon Keefe knows. He's not a stupid coach. Look, there's plenty of blame to go around, but there's one guy that knows exactly what's going on, and that's Sheldon Keefe. And that's a good sign. That's one positive there. Fitzgerald, I think he was too slow to react to this whole Quinn Hughes thing. But if he has something up his sleeve, it better be good. Thank you, Mark Shaw, for the super chat. Happy Devil Saturday to you. Hey, Sam, I am concerned. Hope they can get a win today or tomorrow. I will watch them both fully, 12:30 to 6:30 p.m. Switzerland time. We don't need Quinn right now. Do you think he would sign in Minnesota? Anything is possible. I'm just sick and tired of the Minnesota Wild. I know it's a copycat league, but they love poaching anything of the New Jersey Devils. When they first came to Minnesota, After the Minnesota North Stars went down to Dallas, I loved that name, North Stars. I wish it would have been awesome if they renamed the team the Minnesota North Stars. So you'd have the Dallas Stars playing the Minnesota North Stars, that rivalry. It would have been pretty cool, in my opinion. But I love that Minnesota North Stars team. But they had a fan vote, and they wanted to be called the Wild. Wow, that's so wild. That's the stupidest name. Anyway, that's my opinion. I think that's the stupidest name. Ooh, we're so wild. Let's go wild. But anything can happen, Mark. Anything can happen in a year and a half or till July 1st. Now, if he doesn't re-sign on July 1st, you would have to think that Bill Guerin may try to make a move. And Fitzy, you better clear out some space because you might get another chance at this. But I think you're going to pay a bigger price because Minnesota's got options here, whereas Vancouver had to get it done. We shall see. We shall see. Bill Guerin is pretty wild. Yeah, Bill Guerin. I remember when he played for the New Jersey Devils. I remember his last game. I actually was there, and I was actually sitting in the tunnel, by the tunnel, players' tunnel at Continental Airlines Arena. And I remember Bill Guerin, he was like, he held out at camp, signed a deal, and he was struggling. And I remember yelling at Bill Guerin, "You're not worth $4 million. Or I forgot how much he was. And he looks at me and he shrugs his shoulders and he walked off. And the next day, Lou Lamoriello trades him. And the Devils got Jason Arnott. That was the best. Oh my goodness. That was the best. Yeah, I think they were playing. See, this is the thing. I have the pretty good memory, but I'll ask Vinny Parisi to do the fact check. But I remember, I think that was that game. The Devils played the Toronto Maple Leafs around beginning of January. I forgot what year. 1998? I don't remember. Yeah, probably 1998. It was January 1998, beginning of January. And I remember Bill Guerin just coming off the ice. I remember yelling at him that he's not worth how much he's getting paid because of the contract dispute that he had in the offseason with Lou. And he just looks at me and just shrugs his shoulder and walks off the ice. And then I don't see him again because he gets traded by Lou to Edmonton. We'll have Vinny Parisi look that up on Game Day Live. Anyway, Chris Lass says Fitz's next move is to do what he does best: make empty promises and act like he's trying to land a big player. Yeah, so you see like Pierre LeBrun putting something out there like this is all damage control. You gotta watch. Be careful what you read on X. Here on the Let's Go Devils podcast, we're not perfect, but we will try to give you the most accurate scenario. And I will tell you that my source has told me that some of the stuff that's out there, completely not true. Completely not true. Dubs is like Fitzgerald will swap some bottom six guys out and will either buy out or find a suitor to take Palat for picks so Covey can come back. I'm calling now that'll all happen. Well, you know what? Take a screenshot of that Dubs is like, and if it does happen, let me know. Seeing some other comments as well. Happy Devils Saturday to you, Maria. Morning, Sam. Glad I just caught you. Hope we can pick it up today versus the Ducks today. Yeah, Jacob Schmo, not loving our goalies. Yeah, they're on a slump right now. Mike Rossi said last offseason, Fitzy said next year won't be the same team. This team is season the same team, minus some depth players who haven't played all but one game. Yeah. Well, there should be accountability, right? Fitzy's on the hot seat. I mean, I don't want to call for people's firings. I'm kind of like Nick. That's not what I do, but I would suggest hiring Lou Lamoriello right now, at least as a consultant, and start grooming Martin Brodeur, the assistant GM. I would start grooming Martin Brodeur now, because there's a level of trust factor the Devil fans will gravitate to. They will trust Marty. Heck, they trust him when Jillian Frechette from the marketing team, said, oh, Marty Brodeur had a help in the design of that jersey. Right. Oh, okay. And I'm sure Marty's like, okay, well, I'm getting paid every 2 weeks. Those direct deposits still look good. I'll say that I got a hand in it, that I looked at it once. Mark Schwab says, I feel sorry for Marky. I've seen the post-game interview. He takes the blame. Well, I think Markstrom sucks right now, but I do like Jacob Markstrom and his attitude and his level of concern and his level of that he actually gives a crap. I will say that about Marky. I just wish he can get his game together. I don't know what it is. Maybe father time. Maybe he's just putting too much pressure on himself. But at the end of the day, down the stretch, getting into the playoffs, if Marky's on fire, all is forgiven. Because winning solves everything. Metalander says, Marty doesn't have the temperament to be GM. He's passive, peaceful guy. I disagree, Metalander. Marty Brodeur, actually, I 100% disagree. And respectfully, I disagree. Because Marty Brodeur has a peaceful aura about him, a happy-go-lucky guy. So when you're whining and dining, trying to wheel and deal with other GMs, he's got that charisma, and he's got the legendary status to back it up. But one thing we learned about Marty Brodeur in his career, he is a fiery competitor inside. Remember when he got screwed by the refs against Carolina and he freaking tomahawk chopped that stick? I think he may have almost hit somebody. Marty Brodeur is I'm a kind of a happy-go-lucky guy at times, but I can get serious as well. So don't let that deter you. Marty Brodeur is not a dummy. He went to St. Louis, learned under Doug Armstrong, kind of his apprentice, came back to the New Jersey Devils in 2019, has stayed here since. He's learned all aspects of the business, both on the business side and hockey operations. Lou Lamoriello, 83 years old, great teacher, great mentor, unique in so many ways. If you go back to the past and connect the dots, I would bring Lou Lamoriello back in a scenario where he grooms and mentors Marty Brodeur, like it should have been back when Marty Brodeur was about to retire. But things changed. New ownership group, Marty bolted, wanted to end things on his terms, went to St. Louis. I make analogy that Marty just basically went to college and learned under Doug Armstrong for 4 years in St. Louis, has a house in St. Louis, family's out in St. Louis, his kid Max out in St. Louis, but came back to the New Jersey Devils. And Marty Brodeur and his reputation and his brand is the gold standard in New Jersey. Would he be a good GM? It's a risk. Down in Philadelphia, they had Bobby Clark for many years running the show. Steve Yzerman learned in Tampa, now back with Detroit. Bill Guerin, who basically got Quinn Hughes away from Tom Fitzgerald, GM of the Minnesota Wild. I would love Marty Brodeur to be GM of the New Jersey Devils. But he needs the right people around him. And most importantly, you need to bring back Scott Stevens in some capacity with the New Jersey Devils. Scott Stevens, again, like Marty Brodeur, has the brand recognition and the reputation to get things done. And I would love to have both of them working together if the Devils decide to move on from Fitzy. Just my opinion, of course, because the optics don't look good. And what's Fitzy's next move? You better get Ryan O'Reilly to the New Jersey Devils and that winger. Want to thank all those tuning in. Oh, yeah, Colorado, Sakic. Thank you, beam me up. Thank you. Yeah, that's another one as well. Want to thank all those tuning in to this podcast. We'll do the ceremonial sip. I'll be at American Whiskey with Jenny Streeter of On SI, former, or actually pucksandpitchforks.com's alum as well. Also be with Vinny Parisi. I gotta leave now because I gotta get there early. I hate lines and I hate sitting in traffic. So I want to salute you, the Devils fans, that had a tough night last night. Hopefully 4 points on the table this weekend. Hopefully the Devils can make something happen. So I salute you, the Devils fans, with the ceremonial sip. Dropping the podcast in about 10 minutes. Till next time, this is the Woo Report. Let's go, Devils.